Time now for the Trenders. The Ed Show's social media nation has decided, and we are reporting. Here are today's top trenders, voted on by you.
Our number 3 trender, rodeo clowns.
Obama's going to have to just stay there. Obama, watch out for those bulls.
The hell is that?
The rodeo clown wore an Obama mask while others taunted him.
Announcer want to know how many people would like to see Obama trampled by a bull.
A racist rodeo act rolls into Texas.
The mask of President Obama and other former presidents will be appearing at the Mesquite Rodeo's Championship weekend.
Presidents will be making cameo appearances, and they will not be mocked, at least not by us.
The number 2 trender, mixed signals.
If I owned 600 radio stations, Rush Limbaugh wouldn't be on any of them.
Rush Limbaugh re-ups.
We completed our negotiations with the Cumulus Broadcasting Company. I will continue to be on their radio stations for the next 3 years.
While Hannity makes a fool of himself again. In today's top trender, marching on.
For some reason, we have been stymied after all the progress that has been made right here in Alabama. It took guts to do that then, and it's going to take guts to finish the job now.
The fight for a fair education continues.
This is no time to be silent. This is no time to say, well, we can't overcome. Oh, yes, we can overcome. Joining me now is Richard Franklin, president of the Birmingham American Federation of Teachers. Richard, good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time. Certainly enjoyed working with you and your team down in Birmingham for that town hall meeting, which I thought was vitally important, and I was absolutely stunned at some of the things that I heard. Racism is alive and well in the South. And let's talk public education in Birmingham. With the backdrop of Dr. King's message, what he stood for, what he advocated for, what he wanted this country to do. Today, what is the state of public education in Birmingham, Alabama?
It's really sad, Ed, what's going on in Birmingham, Alabama. We're more divided than we've ever been. We just had a school board election here where only 21% of the citizens of Birmingham came out to vote. The school system has been taken over by the state. The cities that surround, that are suburban cities, they're failing a lot of the students in their schools. We need to have an open conversation in not just Alabama but around this country about what's best for all kids, about reclaiming the promise for all kids. And I think one of the reasons that we wanted to push for you to come here is other media outlets, they won't have that conversation that you will have. And we really appreciate that you invite us, and we're having a conversation about all children. It's really sad that we are divided in communities right now. In places like Philadelphia and Chicago, they're shutting down schools, but also we've shut down schools in Birmingham, and it destroys communities. And I just think it's really sad that we don't have those conversations.
Mr. Franklin, are we picking and choosing neighborhoods? Is it an issue of resources just not going to some neighborhoods?
Yes, they're picking neighborhoods. It's really sad, no matter where you're located right now. We had a mean-spirited legislator that actually just resigned that passed an Accountability Act of Alabama, and they talked about providing a proper education for poor kids. And the sad part about it, this legislator, Jay Love, actually resigned, and he's going around the state to start an education reform group with one of our former state superintendents, Dr. Joseph Morton. And I think it's just sad that we don't have real conversations about people that were in positions that could have changed the public education for all kids in the state of Alabama, but they're running around talking about reform. And I think it's very just hypocritical of those two to run around when they were in positions to make real change for all kids in Alabama.
Why only 21% of the people coming out to vote if the situation is bad? Do they feel, in a sense, hopeless?
Yes, a lot of people feel hopeless. That's what I asked a question on Facebook last night about the citizens, and I believe in democracy when the citizens vote, but it's very disturbing when you look around the country and African American communities especially, we're not voting. We feel that our politicians don't care about us, and one of the reasons I'm glad that you had me on the show today is that I inspired two of my former students today, and it just happened one of them is white and one of them is black. And they have difficult family situations that teachers and educators around the country deal with every day that for some reason as adults we don't choose to talk about. Situations in our communities, Ed, that some of the situations that the kids are faced with and families are faced with, it's a national crisis. Some of the crime, the poverty, the hunger that's going on in our communities. The other side that wants to demonize public schools, they want to pick and choose who would say, per se, come to charter schools or any school, but we in public education, we know, Ed, we have to take the child.
Yeah.
We have to nurture the child.
Oh, when the doors open,
when
the doors open, everybody comes in. All problems, all issues come in, and the schools get the brunt of it. They're labeled as failures, and then, of course, the lack of resources is the next thing that happens. Mr. Franklin, finally, what do you think Dr. King would say about the educational situation in Birmingham, Alabama today?
First, I think people forget that in that I Have a Dream speech in the beginning, he talked about the insufficient funds for African Americans. I think today he would challenge us and say the insufficient funds that we're providing to our students, not just in Birmingham, but throughout the country right now.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people pushing back, and they're talking about cutting.
Sure.
Why would you cut in public education when it's the equalizer for every child in this country, regardless of the economic and social and racial background, what they're faced with? It gives them hope. And that's why so many people don't have hope.
I believe as a cable host and radio talk show host, I would be abdicating my responsibilities as someone with this platform if I did not tell the story about what is really happening. When we hear that we still have a long way to go, this is one of those stories, and I hope it wakes up some folks to realize that every kid in this country deserves a chance to live the dream, to have that dream. Richard Franklin, great to have you with us tonight. Thanks for joining us on The Ed Show. Still to come, War and Peace. Our panel joins me to discuss how Dr. King's message of peace still resonates as conservatives just can't wait to hit Syria. And later, Republicans take a sharp right turn. We'll look at the growing divide within the GOP in South Carolina. But next, I'm taking your questions on Ask Ed Live. Just ahead, stay with us. We're right back.